welcome to another episode of the Frames Per Second podcast. I am your host for the evening. My name is Mike, and with me I have Nick, Ken, and Jalen. What's happening, fellas?
What's up?
And we're going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of Andor season 2. So let's go around the horn and y'all give me some general thoughts on what y'all thought about the first 3 episodes. I'm gonna start with you, Nick.
I fucked with it. I even had to rewatch the last episode just to make sure, but I didn't know where we were starting and how things were going. But I'm super glad they dropped 3, because if it was just like week to week for these first 3 episodes, I probably would have been out by until this 3rd episode. But yeah, I fuck with it a lot.
All right, what about you, Ken?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I went back and watched the whole season, the whole first season, and yeah, a lot happened in that first season, a lot more than I remembered. Andor went through some shit, so it was good to kind of become refamiliar with the world, the pacing, et cetera, and the first 3 episodes, I definitely did enjoy them. It felt like they didn't. There was a lot more happening in the first 3 in spurts than it did in the first one. So I think we're off to a good start.
And Jalen?
Give me a second, Mike. I want to first say like that I just recently finished the 3 episodes, but also finally got through season 1. And I'm disappointed. I let myself down because the first 2 episodes of season 1 kind of made me tap out when it first came out. And then I would talk to my friends, and they're like, "Bro, this is what Star Wars is supposed to feel like. You need to finish season 1. Like this is like the epitome of Star Wars." And I really enjoyed season 1, and I really enjoyed these first 3 episodes. I disagree with Nick. I think the first 2 episodes, if they did it week to week, I would still be in because the cliffhangers were good enough for me to return. But yeah, I really enjoyed these first 3 episodes, and yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with Nick too. I think that I would have been more than God damn it. I think I would have been more than fine if these first 3 were released one by one, week to week. I think the end of the first episode was enough to make me like, oh shit, okay, cool. I'm here for it. But I'm not gonna be like pig-headed and act like I don't know what Nick's talking about. Like, I don't think Nick is crazy. I think Nick's opinion is probably the opinion of the majority of people, where this show is not action-packed. It's pretty slow. And it builds a lot upon itself. So I could see why some folks might be like, yeah, nah, you need to drop them first 3. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given a fuck. So yeah, let's get into it now. Oh, wait, go ahead.
But even with it being slow, I think when the action does kick in, it makes it worth it. Like the action scenes seem like they're meaningful. It's not just action for the sake of keeping you engaged in the show.
Yeah,
it actually matters. So yeah,
I get it, but I think a show like this for a lot of people, it's hard to stomach. Because this is not what we sign up for. This is a random aside, but I think I disagree a little bit with your friend as far as this is what Star Wars is supposed to feel like. I don't think we've ever felt like this with Andor, and I think that's what makes this so interesting. Not saying your friend is wrong, of course, but I'm just saying, like, for 30 something years of growing up with Star Wars, I've never felt like this. We've known the Empire is bad. I've never felt this heavy about the Empire. So that's what I think is most interesting about this show. But I think that's also what is turning people off to this show, which we will get to later. But just so everybody is clear, I'm not going to be I'm stealing a note from Nay. I'm not going to go piece by piece. I'm going to separate the stories because otherwise I'd be bouncing around a lot because these episodes, they're all fucking over the place. So we're just going to go story by story because they're pretty much all broken into these 4 stories. So let's go ahead and get into it with episode 1. And it starts off, I didn't write the title down, but I think it's actually called 1 year later. I think. but it starts 1 year later from when we last saw Cassian and the crew, and it specifies BBY4. Does everybody remember what that is?
Mm-mm.
Isn't
I
it like
don't.
the signification of like where we're at in time, like the timeline of Star
Yes.
Wars?
Yes. So BBY, anytime you see BBY, it's before the Battle of Yavin. Battle of Yavin is the battle that we see in New Hope, where Luke dunks the 3-pointer and blows up the Death Star. So anytime you see BB3, BB5, whatever, you know that it's 5, 4, whatever years before that happens. So where we're at right now, obviously, this is 4 years before the very first Star Wars film that we see. So it starts off with us seeing Cassian undercover as a test pilot trying to steal a TIE fighter, and he's getting some help from a thick-ass
I was about to
cadet.
say, Mike. I was about to say that ain't the first thing we see, Mike.
We see that big old ass
Hey,
walking
I
on the
said-
TIE fighter.
Hey, Mike, you talking about what keep me week to week? that's what I came to the review just for that. Boy.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, bro. Hey, kid, she came on. I'm like, Mike, you talking about you ain't never felt like this about Star Wars? Me too. Me too.
I can't stand you.
I was like, I hope she come back. I don't know.
Gave you a new hope, huh?
Oh,
bro.
Jesus Christ.
I was hoping she would
Nick,
come back.
what did you think of the convo between Cassian and her name is Naya or Nia? One of the two.
Oh, I remember her name, Mike. Don't worry about that. But what I really liked was Ken was touched on it a little bit as far as a lot happened in season 1, and seeing this first episode, a lot changed for Andor too. And I forgot about all that. Like, he's now a leader. At first, he was like, or at least that's what I was getting off of it. He, like, the way he was talking to her was like the same kind of thing that I felt like others were saying to him in that first season. Like, you have to believe in more than yourself. You have to get over this fear of yourself. You have to stop being so individualistic and thinking of only yourself. You got to think of something more to be greater and all that stuff. And I feel like that's what he was kind of giving to her while also trying to calm her nerves down, because obviously she's risking her life. But I thought that was a really good way of showing us this is a new Andy. You know what I mean? Like, this is not season 1 Andy. He's evolved a little bit. And yeah, and I don't know. I just like the way they did. I wish I kind of knew more about like how she got on board and how they got connected. It's not necessary, but I just was interested in seeing how that recruiting goes, especially for like something as crazy as what we see in a few scenes later. But yeah, I appreciated us kind of seeing a different version of Andy.
Do you guys feel like he believed what he was saying or what he was telling her?
I felt like he believed what he was saying, but he was also like, I gotta say anything to calm her down, because she could fuck up this whole mission being on some scary shit.
Yeah, it sounded like he was still kind of just growing into the role. So it just like, you know, it didn't seem like he was like fully established in that position. And that he was trying to just kind of say things to get her to calm down, so they can get through this.
I don't think so. I think it's probably what he tells himself, because I'm pretty sure he's still conflicted. Because if we think about season 1, like most of the time like at least in the beginning, it wasn't about the rebellion. Like it was just about survival. And I think now, like with everything that has happened, he knows the purpose of it and how important it is, but I think he's still trying to convince himself of how important it is at times. So I think that's something that he tells himself. Yeah, I think I just believe him. I get what you're trying to say, Ken, but I'm more so on the side of he tells himself that, and so that's what really helps him each day to continue fighting instead of just like going willy nilly and being like, all right, I'm just gonna live on for myself.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation, especially given the fact that we were a year away, and you know, I don't know, just like, you know, it's all right, we got it, we're gonna be good, don't worry about it, everything's gonna be straight. And that was kind of the vibe that I got. And maybe he was just nervous about what was about to happen.
I mean, that shit convinced me. And shit, I would have probably did the same thing she did. Like, all right, nigga, I got you back. Shit, fuck these niggas. We riding?
Well, I love what she said. It was like, shut up, hold on, nigga, give me 12 minutes before you start doing any goofy shit. I gotta get the fuck up out of here.
I gotta get back to my bunk. I don't want nobody to know I'm fucking with you.
Exactly.
No, I love this scene, and this kicked it off perfectly for me is back to that Andor writing that we don't hear in Star Wars. But to answer Ken's question, I 100% think he believed everything that he said. And I agree with Jalen. I think this is what he's been telling himself over the last year and some change to get himself into this rebellion. Because I did go back and rewatch the first season as well. And you can kind of see when that turn happens. And I think the death of Marva and her speech was really the final straw for Andor. A lot of times when it comes to these kind of things, it's that personal thing. It's like, oh, it affects me personally. Now I get it. But yeah, no, I think he believed everything that he told her. I think that the things that he was saying, like when he said, you're coming home to yourself, you're now greater than your fear. I was like, God damn, man.
That shit was
Again,
real.
nobody talks like that in Star Wars. Like this is special kind of writing. But yeah, I also there was one little, and I remember telling you, Nick, I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of what do you call it, like Easter eggs and shit.
Yeah.
But they did drop one in there where she said the password is Kafrene. And I haven't watched Rogue One in a while, but if y'all have, that's the planet that we first meet Andor on, is a moon of Kafrene.
Gotcha.
But Nick, oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say like some of that shit. I'd be like, bro, can you write that down, nigga? Like, I ain't gonna remember how you spell Kafrene. I'm just if that's the first words you hear, kid, that's like password or code. It's like, nigga, how am I supposed to remember that? That's what I was just thinking. I was like, these motherfuckers just be saying shit, and I guess you're just aware of things in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I guess it would be like someone telling you, "Hey, the password's Texas." But now, if they said the password was Mississippi, hey, we're done. we're all dying because I'm fucking that up. But what did you think about how the theft of the ship went down, Nick?
Well, because again, I didn't rewatch season one, and this scene made me want to rewatch it because I was like, how good of a pilot was he? Because I was thinking, but I also had to think about, oh, these are all new toys in this timeline. So no one knows how to fly any of this shit. I think they were later on in this episode, they talked about how is this even able to, like, where's the power core coming? How is it still being able to self-power and stuff? At least that's how I was trying to connect it to that. But I loved it as far as like watching and like the graphics of it. I just thought this was a really dope scene to see, like, how would you be able to fly this shit if you just got on that motherfucker and just said, because I was thinking like, damn, was this who came up with this plan if no one knew how to fly these things and you're supposed to fly it out? But I love how it went. I love just seeing how he just figured it out and made shit happen.
Do you feel the same way, Ken?
Yeah. It was a good way to start off the season and the episode. They did explain what happened, but just not knowing what happened and why he couldn't fly this thing, I thought was really, really dope. And just seeing him kind of stumble and bumble his way through it. But also, you kind of see that there's some intuition that he has, like he can pick up certain things and he just kind of worked it out, and that's kind of what he does. He makes the best of some pretty rough situation he's been in. And when he got it, it was dope. And just off the little bit that he knew, he was able to take out a lot of people and escape. And he still didn't even know how to fly that shit. So, but I loved it. It was great action packed, especially when he broke through the wall and shot the wall up and flew out. That shit was dope. And just the size of the TIE fighter, right?
Yeah.
It, like when you see them, they don't look like they're that big. So yeah, it was kind of dope, like seeing like it at that sort of scale. It was really dope and interesting.
I mean, it was dope even the way it looked, because there was like a different type of TIE fighter than we used to seeing. Like just the shape of it looked like shit. It looked like the Lamborghini of TIE fighters and so shit. I wanted to hop in that motherfucker. But I think this is the most realistic of a heist to me, because I don't think every time you hop into a ship you should know every single thing that goes, and like there should be differences in each ship. So this was the most realistic heist that I felt like we've gotten from Star Wars, and I guess in most recent Star Wars. So yeah, I really fuck with this scene. Even the way he took out all the stormtroopers and he just fucking around trying to figure it all out. Like I think I really could feel like the angst a little bit of him like trying to fight through it and learn at the same time. So I really enjoy that. And even the chase scene was even dope too.
Well, I hope it was enough time for Nia to get her ass out of there, because if she saw that mess, she would have switched teams, bro.
Hey Ken, that's a lot of ass. I don't know how far she got. You know what I'm saying? she might have been 6 minutes in. That's for the stroll.
Oh,
I don't know. I was thinking about her. Mike. I was concerned for her the whole time. I give a fuck about Andy because you know how I always be saying this show called Andor. We know he gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? We got to worry about baby girl.
Nah, she's probably a goner, bro. Because that one kid saw her talking to him, so she's like, "Oh yeah, the black one that I told you not to hire. I told you not to hire her." And of course, they steal shit. What did you expect to happen?
That was probably her cousin,
Right? He looked Mexican. You got a black one and a Mexican one over here having a conversation in a dark ass room in a lunchroom with no lunch. She's in trouble. She's already in jail. But yeah, I agree. I definitely think this was a really good way to show that he's not perfect at everything.
Mhm.
You know, I actually enjoyed him getting in there and not knowing what the fuck he was doing. I actually really liked that scene. But yeah, him escaping in the ship. So a lot of folks complained about there not being enough action in season 1. So was this little chunk of action, was that enough to kind of kick us off for the season? I think Ken's
so.
already said yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
This is a great intro. Which made me excited for like, oh shit, all right, they kicking it off quick. What's the next? I can't wait to see what happens next. And then we get to that other storyline, which I know we're gonna touch on. But yeah, this was a phenomenal way to start it off.
It was, but I mean, we still got it's like right now we got action in every episode right now. So I guess I hope they're not overcompensating for what went on last. But I mean, it's working, but I just hope it doesn't take away from the storytelling later on because they try to jam in so much action in the beginning of it.
I was good with the action because of where we're at in the story. I feel like since we're ramping up to the rebellion getting created and we're ramping up to them actually posing a serious threat, I was okay with the action that was happening. I do get your point, Jalen. I was kind of hoping that like, all right, well, you know, I hope you're not about to just make everything a whole bunch of action and it's going to be corny, but that's not what happens. So I think this is the part where Nick probably got lost, might have wanted to tap out a little bit. So he lands on a planet to meet up with his partner, but he ends up getting captured by a stranded group of rebels who don't trust him and they're trying to leave. And they have a pilot themselves, but that pilot can't fly the ship that Cassian landed. So there's this sort of civil war that happens between the group. So Nick, were you not fucking with this?
So I want to explain why I'm saying this. It's only because like, and I think y'all should know, I give a lot of shows and films leeway if they're going to take me somewhere with it, even if it's a slow burn. But for the fact that these is just goofballs, we spent so much time with goofballs. That's something I'm worried about baby girl on the in the cotton fields or whatever the hell, the cornfields and shit. I'm over here worrying about his homeboy, what's his name, Braz, or whatever. I'm worried about Mon Mothma and you know what I'm saying? I'm worried about them. Like because like every time we came back to them, they was just arguing over goofy shit. They was like, "You want to eat these thirsty ass melons? I don't know. I dare you." It's like, oh, nigga, we got bigger shit to do. Like, what are we talking about? That's my thing. But what I did love about this, and Mike, you said it earlier. You was like, when you were talking about Andy flying the thing, he was like, the rebellion isn't perfect. And I love that. I guess this whole sequence of scenes was about how imperfect the rebellion is on a multitude of levels. Like when you're actually dealing with like who is technically for the rebellion and who's just rebels. You know what I'm saying? And like I think that was like to show the difference between Andy and those guys. So I at least I don't know. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I got from overall what those scenes were about.
Okay,
I'm with you. I'm with you on that front as far as like being organized, and it's just so many. You're working in secrecy, so a lot of things can go wrong, and so like the communication piece of it kind of gets lost. And even with them, they were kind of like franticing because they fucked up. They were fucked up too. So when you're already against the grain, going against the grain, and shit start going haywire, people start cannibalizing each other. That's exactly what they started to do. And I like this perspective. I like actually staying there for a minute and actually seeing them go at it because it gave more angst to Andor, and I think it just works well going to different planets in Star Wars because I like to see how vast Star Wars is too. So this right here gave me outside of the politics and like them just being on the run, like a different pocket of Star Wars to be in for a second.
Well, take Naya and her reluctance or not full-throated belief in the rebellion and throw her on an island with no food for 2 days, and see what happens. And I think that's what you start. That's what you got are people that's down for the cause, but for different reasons. And it turned into Lord of the Flies. They just fell apart without any type of leadership or self-governance. And could be a reflection of the rebellion at this stage at large, because the Empire has a leader, a clear leader that defines the agendas and the goals for everybody. And we saw that. That's why, you can see them flipping back and forth between the two. It was illustrating the differences in both of these parties and where they are right now in terms of this story. So it was goofy and silly and disorganized and dysfunctional, but in terms of the story, that's what I agree with you, Nick. That's what it was there to serve. That this shit ain't perfect. And it kind of also ties into just the escape, because the escape wasn't perfect and the plane that they got. So there was a lot of things that's going on where shit just ain't right. And they got a lot of work to do. But he didn't give a fuck about him. He left their ass right there, didn't he?
the one of the rebels' brothers didn't give a fuck about him. He left. Remember, they talking like, your brother left us. He said, no, he coming back. No, he ain't.
No, I actually really like this scene, but I understand why someone wouldn't, because at first I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Who are these? Why are we doing this? But then we have to remember that he hasn't said this, but this show is very clearly supposed to represent what it looks like to form a rebellion against a fascist regime. So the fact that these are rebels, there's no rebel alliance yet. So none of them are organized. These are just a group of people that don't fuck with the Empire. And Andor belongs to a different group of people that don't fuck with the Empire. And they all work differently. But clearly, this group, like one of y'all said, doesn't have a clear leader. So they're fighting each other. So I actually think that this scene in this particular episode made a lot of sense. And I actually really did like it, especially when it ends with them killing each other. I was like, okay, this is how I think this would happen if we were trying to form a rebellion. Shows and movies don't typically show this. Mm-hmm. It's typically one motherfucker just shows up and he just leads everybody to the promised land and everything is all great. But like, this is showing that no, not everything is perfect because everybody's human and there's no leader. And this is one of the groups that Saul Guerrero called out in the last season. There's all of these groups and he clearly said they're all lost. And now we're seeing what he's talking about. They're
the Neo-Republicans he was talking about.
Neo-Republicans, yes, because they want to install the Republic back to the way it was. Whereas Saul Guerrero just wants anarchy. He wants everybody to govern themselves. But he's looking at this group and he's like, y'all not going to win because you're lost. You don't even know what the fuck you're doing. So this is showing that. Did it go on a little too long? Maybe. It may have gone on a little too long. But I actually really like this scene. So, after this, we jump down to a planet I've never heard of, Mina Rao. And this is another part of the story that I can see people not really loving. But we see that Bix, Brasso, and Willman, if y'all remember Willman, he was the guy that his dad died in the last season. He got hung.
Pac or something like that. What's his name?
Yeah, his dad's name was like Pac or something like that. But yeah, he was tortured before Biggs. And the last time we saw him, he was being dragged out, and the officer said they were going to hang him. So
I just remember him after you told me because I didn't know who the fuck it was.
God damn, you just watched the show.
I know, but I didn't remember his ass.
Damn, he's one of the only brothers in the whole show. But anyway, he was the one that he threw the grenade and he started the whole big part of that riot. Anyways, they're working undercover on this planet as they're kind of day laborers. And they find out that Space Ice has shown up checking on people's credentials to see if they're illegals. Was this a good storyline to drop them into, Nick?
I fucked with this part of the show because you already know you show me mixed, Jayla. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to complain about.
You ass horny, bro. God damn.
I'm just saying that there's only two characters I care about: is Andy and Bix. Everybody else, well, now
Andy, Bix, and Fix.
No, but I like this because, like you said, Mike, it kind of very much harkens on to what we're dealing with today, and how that feels in the Star Wars universe is an interesting way to tell this story. I didn't realize the backstabbing that I would find in this because I actually believe Cuz. So that broke my heart too. When what's his name?
Brasso.
Brasso. When he said that shit, I was like, damn, bro, you can't trust no motherfucker, no white man, no matter what you're in the present or the future. You know what I'm saying? But I really did like this. And I also really liked how they touched on Bix's PTSD from last season. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's still dealing with that shit, and it's understandably so. But like, I really like how they kind of threw that in there just to make sure you kind of get a sense of where she's at too.
Ken didn't like this scene, I can tell, and I don't know if Jalen did either. So, and by the way, I'm going episode by episode, but story.
Gotcha.
Yeah, nah, you good.
I wasn't sure because my notes are kind of confusing. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I wasn't too hot on it on the whole this storyline or the introduction of where the storyline went. But I knew it would come around at some point. But I think more or less it was just like, hey, these other guys are together and they're waiting on Cassian and he's not there. So, but yeah, I felt like I needed to be a little bit more patient with it, but they can come on screen and just get off, and I was good.
You ain't care about them, but you cared about the rebel, the goofy.
I didn't care about the rebels. I cared about what they represented and the part that they represent in terms of comparing and contrasting them to the Empire. It was more important than this in this first part. We're still on episode 1, right?
Yes, we're still on episode 1.
Okay, yeah.
Y'all just talking slow.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'm joking. I'm kidding. We're actually Go ahead.
As far as this storyline, I was here for it because shit, my boy B was in it. You know, B2, dog. We get to see B2 again.
Oh, B2.
Yeah, where was B at? I'm thinking, was he like a little big head ass dude in the?
Oh no, it could be.
I didn't see no other black people in the
field. But yeah, I enjoy that, and also just to catch up with Bix too, like because I wanted to see what was going to happen next with her. Like I wanted to see if she was going to be against the rebellion, against everything, like have animosity towards Andor. I wanted to see all those things. It could go any way based off the ending of last season. So I was happy to be back with them and seeing how they're dealing with everything that they lost, because I think they had to get up and leave too. So I was happy to be back with them.
I agree. I actually really, really liked this angle, the way they kicked it off. The interesting thing is when I first started watching it, I was like, okay, I'm loving this, but it's a little bit corny that y'all fashioned this after, the Trump administration and what's happening today. Until you realize this was written well before that.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with what's happening right now. At least that's what they said.
Yeah.
That's what they said. So I think that is wild that it's that fucking accurate to what's happening right now. But I really enjoy, because again, when it comes to fascism, the beautiful thing about this show is it's not like they had to even know what was happening with Trump's current administration. All they had to do was look back at what the actual Nazis did, because they did the same shit. It's not like Trump came up with this on his own. This was a fucking this was a scorebook. You know what I'm saying? This was a plan from the beginning. So watching the soldiers go through and try to find people that they can arrest, which we have to remember why they want to arrest people, because they want to put them back in that jail to have them doing free labor for the Death Star. So I thought that this was dope. I thought this was really, really, really cool. But after this, we go to the Dedra Meero story, and we see that she is now working directly with the top dogs in the ISB. Like, that's what it looks like. She's being debriefed by Orson Krennic, which I assume everybody remembers him from Rogue One. But we find out that they want to take over a planet called Gorman because it has an energy mineral called calcite that's wanted by the Empire. But drilling this mineral will destroy the planet. So the problem is Gorman is a core planet, so they can't just go take it over. They have to destabilize it, which should be very familiar to us living in America of why and how places do this. But Nick, what did you think about the Empire's propaganda plan?
I liked it. I found it very interesting that the Empire isn't always by force, which I feel like no pun intended, which is what I feel like we always deal with in the movies. Like they always just like come through with the blasters and the stormtroopers and they just take over shit. They actually are being more strategic and trying, like you mentioned, Mike. I didn't realize that there's certain planets where it's like we just can't take it over, even though we are the bad guys. We got to actually do it in a diplomatic way. I love Ben Mendelsohn in this role, like in these roles where he's just, you know, the bad guy, but the commander, you know what I'm saying? And he's just giving out orders and he's laying things, laying it down. But I love seeing this part of Star Wars with like the strategy room of like how they took over, how they take over different things. They don't really show that in the movies. They don't really have time to. They just like, we're just the bad guys. To your point, Mike, they really showcase like how detailed everything is. And it's not just happenstance. I feel like sometimes in the movies it was somewhat cartoon. It's like, oh, these are just the cartoon bad guys. Yeah. But this one shows you it's like, no, these are just evil, diabolical people. So I really like this scene.
What do you think, Jalen?
I mean, the propaganda was pretty familiar. So I think that's the beauty about this show too, is that it's very familiar to what we're dealing with today. Like you said, even with the illegals, like you're demonizing these people who are commonly known as kind people, just so like everyone can turn against them and give a reason for why you're going to do this to this planet. And speaking through it, and even they mentioned something else, because I can't remember who it was. Somebody was against it, and he was like, "Why don't y'all try like a disease or something to wipe them out or something like that?" And they basically was like, "That's not the way," or something like, "That's not the way we're gonna do this," because like they game planned it already. And it does show how like diabolical they are, and like it. I mean, we know the Empire is the bad guy, but to feel and see how the lengths they will go, like demonize them even more, and it gives you even like a sense of like really fuck y'all niggas while y'all watching it.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. It's like you get a chance to be like fly on the wall to a lot of fuck shit that's happening now, you know, just in a different way. So seeing him get up there and say, look, if y'all in the room, then y'all in the room and y'all have clearance to be here. I hope nobody got a signal chat somewhere. But the shit was dope seeing them, but also seeing like the disagreements and the strategy, as you mentioned, Jalen, about what they were about to do. And just even after it was over, them just kind of talking and the different ideas that they were throwing out while they were workshopping, and him going to her and be like, look, I already know you got a plan, so what is it? And then the way she just broke it down so quickly, it was like, nah, you can do it like this and do it this way. And even like one of the guys was like, you talk about the disease or whatever, and then somebody saying, oh yeah, just go find 2 people from the planet and just have them do it. And yeah, man, it's you know, CIA be doing shit like this all the fucking time. So it was really dope just seeing that, and of course paralleling that with you know the other thing that was happening, what we talked about earlier, because they were going back and forth. It was really dope just kind of seeing those 2 play out.
I even like the fact that they were detailed enough to show us why that planet is valuable too, with the way they make the clothes, with the spiders and stuff like that. Like again, stuff you're not going to see in the movies, but it tells you like we just can't be on our normal fuck shit. Like they actually got resources, you know what I'm saying? So it was just I love those little small sign of
But
stories.
resources to the point where it didn't matter. Like we'll blow up the whole fucking planet, because we need it for our larger cause. So they were willing to get rid of the resources in order to do that. It's
But it was
kind of like
because
destroying the stock market.
But it was also because of that, like they were even thinking about like can we not just remove them? Can we not relocate them and stuff like that? And they was like, man, that's gonna take longer than what we need. Like we need
this shit now, bro.
He said the drilling ain't the issue, nigga. We can start up tomorrow.
He said, "Yeah, we ready to go." I said, "Yeah, they need to go."
Yeah, I actually found that part to be very, very interesting. We won't get too deep into it, but people should look up the suggestions that Trump gave for removing the people of Gaza. It's the same type of justification. But what I actually found very interesting about this part was they're preparing to spread propaganda about the people. And you touched on the fact that there's these spiders that do these webs and these beautiful, beautiful, ornate webs. But they were planning to compare them to the spiders. So it's not just, we don't care about y'all, we're going to remove y'all, or y'all might have to die. They were dehumanizing it before they even began. So this is, again, something that goes back to what fascism has always done. They did it with the Jews. They compared them to rats. There's all types of political cartoons where they show Jews as rats. And all five of us should know how this goes. They do the same shit to us with monkeys. So this is another part of the fascist playbook. And I love that they're inserting this into Star Wars. It's probably a bit, for some folks, a bit heavy-handed for Star Wars, but I'm fucking digging it, man. And Ken touched on it a little bit, which is going to be my next question. So I'll ask y'all, Dedra's plan on how to handle this, which was to encourage rebels on Gorman to do the wrong thing. Did that make sense to y'all? I'm gonna ask you, Nick.
Yeah, because you need evidence to support the claim. Like you need some kind of like. I mean, this is not a good analogy because there was really no evidence, but like how Trump said, like they're eating the cats and dogs. Like if you had evidence of that, then you could support the claim. But like if you actually have to say like these are the people like them who you're gonna eventually use and lock up and whatever. Like that goes with, it pairs well with the propaganda. Because if you just say shit, then you're just saying rumors. Like no one's really going to, especially when you're talking about what looks like a high society, like the Gormans, like it would kind of be like, okay, they're just talking shit. But like if you have people locked up doing crazy shit, it kind of goes with it.
I think a better example would be the BLM protests in 2020, how they constantly use that, Nick, and they kind of say that the movement was tearing up cities and it's just about anarchy, and that's kind of like the example they would probably use, even though there's agitators that cause those things. So, but it allows people who don't want to do further research or care enough to live in that ignorance of thinking, yeah, these type of people need to go, like that was justified. So yeah, I really like it. He did seem like a hoe though, low key, because he was kind of begging for her. Not really a hoe, but he was over there begging for a solution. But another part of me thinks because he said he handpicked her and he wanted her to be there, he knew how smart she was. But it also seemed like he was like begging a little bit, like, "Hey, give me something. I need something from you," because he didn't really have a plan himself.
I took it as like one of those teachers who sees like, well, there's two things. I took it as like one of the teachers who sees potential in a student, and it's like, bro, just say your idea. Like I brought you here for read. Like you're a good student. And it was also like he ain't hear nothing else good in that damn room, so he was like, "Shit, nigga, what the fuck you doing here for if you ain't gonna say nothing? I ain't bring you here just for shits and giggles."
I think he already had a plan of what they were going to do. I mean, those two guys that stood up basically laid out, they're going to start the propaganda tour. I think that he brought her in case she could add something that would make sense to make that other part of the plan work. And I think she did. I think her saying, I thought the exact same thing about BLM and what they're called professional agitators, which is basically undercover cops who go in and start shit and then they blame it on BLM. And that gives the public the opportunity to be like, well, I understand why you're against this because look at how violent they are. So I thought her plan made sense. And it also harkens back to what she went through on Ferrex when she was stuck in the middle of what was supposed to be a celebration of Marva's life, but it turned into a riot. But if you remember who started the violence, they did. So yeah, that's just how it goes. So we're now to the last part of this episode, and that is the Chandrilla part of the story, and that is with Mon Mothma. So we see that Mon Mothma and her household are preparing for her daughter's wedding. Were y'all interested in any of this shit? Did y'all remember what was happening as far as the wedding goes? And did y'all give a shit about what was going on with her and Tay?
I cared once I remember. I think it was one of the recasts before episode 2 or 3 that reminded me of like why I was like, who getting married? Who the fuck is getting married? And then I was like, oh, she sold her daughter, basically. And I was thinking, like, that's fucked up. I was like, because I'm thinking, Ken, throughout all this Star Wars shit, was that a key thing that needed to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe could they have gotten to, because we see how, you know, coincidental some of that Star Wars shit was as far as how they won. Because you could also say, like, oh yeah, they did win at the end of the day, so everything that they did was for a purpose. But I'm looking at her daughter like, bro, her daughter was over there crying and shit, talking about some, this motherfucker ain't shit.
Well, you know, they just had their first argument, Nick, you know, and it's a day or so before the big day. So, you know, I get it. It was good seeing her, you know, be gentle with her daughter who really don't give a fuck about her. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, that scene that she had a one-on-one. Yeah, she's like, I wish your ass was drunk telling me this goofy ass shit.
Yeah, she really don't give a fuck about her. Like, and I completely forgot that. Like the first season, her daughter,
they was beefing.
Yeah, they were beefing. So to see her have that, like that tender moment with her was cool. But even with that, I didn't care about it in this episode. It just kind of set up what was to come. Like Tay really was the most interesting one because all that shit he did, he broke. He fucked up, bro.
That's what he said. He was like, I'm a broke activist. What that look like? But I also, before you go, Jay, like I like seeing the 3 levels or the different levels of the rebellion. Like I like how we get to see what it's like on the high society level of how they do things, because that all plays a part into it. It's kind of like you got the streets with the BLM, and then you got the people who are supposed to be like the Maxine Waters, who are in Congress trying to do things as well. But obviously it's in a more shady kind of way in this universe. But I don't mind seeing the different levels.
Yeah, I mean, they come back to that in episode 3, the way they the end of episode 3, yeah. But I didn't really care, but that shot when they first introduced Mon back again with like how they were following her, but she was acting like the way she was, like the emotion she was going back and forth, like you could feel the struggle she was having and the anxiety that she was having of like, I have to show face, but at the same time, like a lot of shit is in my mind, like shit is going crazy right now. So I really enjoyed that. That was probably the best part of being on in this side of the story. Everything else is just like, all right, I don't really care that much.
So I actually really like this part of the story too. But the whole time I was watching, I was like, oh, motherfucker's gonna tear this up because who cares?
Really?
Yeah, because you know, I haven't talked to really anybody but y'all, but I would not be surprised if a lot of folks did not care about this particular part of the story because there was no action. There wasn't a lot that was happening, but I actually found it really interesting because again, you know, one of y'all just said, you know, that she basically just like sold her daughter, and you know, did that really need to happen? Well, if you think about it, yes. Because the reason she sold her daughter was because they needed a way to hide the fact that she was letting money go. And they didn't really have a lot of options. So that's why she did it. Because if the Empire found out in any way that Mon Mothma was part of the rebellion, the entire family probably would have been killed. It wouldn't have just been her. The daughter would have died. The punk ass daddy, he would have died. All of them would have died. So she kind of did have to do this. And I did like what was going on with Tay because I was like, I don't really know what's happening with him. What is he hinting at? Yes, I get that he's broke, but what is he hinting at with her? So I found all of this to actually be really interesting. And I thought it was an interesting way to kind of end, you know, to kind of close out their part of the story with this particular episode. But unless anybody has anything else to say, we're going to jump into episode 2. And we're actually ending right at the minute that I had planned. This is working out. Probably a good thing Rod's not here because we'd still be talking about the first part of episode. I'm just kidding, Rod. All right, so episode 2 starts off with the dumbass rebels trying to find the body of the pilot that they shot. Why? I don't know, because it seemed pretty clear that you killed this motherfucker. You shot her at fucking point blank range. But they're still destined to get off the planet, and they need her to fly it. But all they find is her foot, so that plan doesn't work out. So we have one group holed up in Cassian's old broken-ass ship, and the other group is in the new ship that they can't fly. So are y'all still just not really on board with this part of the story, Nick?
Well, this part I was interested in because they kept on mentioning like, oh, there's monsters out here. There's something outside. And then when we pick up the pilot's foot, or what was left of the pilot, I was like, oh, okay, this is going into some creepy, there's always kinds of creatures in the Star Wars universe. But Micah, you made me forget. I did remember that standoff they had when they shot the pilot. I thought that shit was funny because she knew she wasn't about to get shot. She was like,
did.
God.
She was talking all kinds of shit. You don't shoot me, motherfucker.
He was like, what you do that for?
You're not even good at lying with your punk ass. Wow, bitch. What now? What now?
I was like, oh shit, about to go down. But like, yeah, I like this this standoff. Of course, since I'm sitting there watching, I had to find some enjoyment in it. So like seeing that standoff and also like what's creeping in the dwells of the forest was interesting.
What did he say when he said he kept hearing a noise? And did he say he thought it was the ship? Or no, he said he thought it was thunder. And then that big ass animal came through and fucked up people. They were dumb as shit, like really goofy. And I think that may have been the one that asked if there were food on the ship or whatever. But once I got the parallels, I was cool. I was just like, okay, let's see how they're gonna get out of this. These guys clearly here are sacrificial lambs. So how in the world is Cassian going to maneuver his situation? Maneuver himself to get out of this situation with two warring factions here, and he found a way, as we saw. But I'm with you, Nick. Like they mentioned animals in the first episode, and I thought we would see more animals, especially when he picked up the foot. And but we only saw one, so I was a little bit disappointed with that. But no, it was cool. I was kind of ready to move on.
I think this was supposed to also illustrate the desperation it was in, because like they start off with Andor like drinking water that's dripping, like he's thirsty, like he's dying for thirst right there. And then on top of that, when they get the fruit and like they know they need to eat, but it smells disgusting, and they just have to, like they need something to help them out. Everything was just showing me the desperation that they were all in, and I kind of like felt it, and I appreciated it. So yeah, I was still fucking with this scene. I also realized that Andor does well with like the comedy that they put in. It doesn't just like it doesn't feel like it's forced. Like I've gotten used to MCU humor where it's like, bro, let me sit in this moment, or like give me some intensity, and they put a joke there. But this one, like it's right there where it needs to be, and it may not be like having me rolling over laughing, but sometimes it's just like it's good. Because when they ate that fruit, I was looking at that fucker face, and he was like, I don't really want to put my face in this shit. Like,
well, first of all, I don't know why he ate it like that. Like, he ate it like it was some. He ate it like
felt like it was some.
He ate it like Preacher Boy did, old girl on the Sinners one. That's all I was like, bro, you ain't gotta eat it like that, especially if it smell like how it smelled.
If it smells like you just gotta go all in, Nick.
How long of a walk is that, Nick?
You guys just do it.
They was out there for 2 days, kid.
Because it messed up. Didn't it mess up one of their stomachs or something? Weren't they fucked up from that shit?
No, I think one of them said something about that was gonna fuck. I don't think it actually did. Or if it did, I don't remember it showing that.
Nigga said. He said, you ate that other shit? He said, that was on the day. He was like, well, I dare you.
I dare you. Yeah, no, I liked this. I like this scene, and you're right with the humor. The humor works here because it doesn't seem overboard.
Mhm.
It's not like there's a setup and then there's a punchline and then cue the audience laughing. It just seemed because doofy ass motherfuckers just like these guys.
Mhm.
Now I do think that they were showing that the rebellion's not all the way together, but I liked that they were focusing on the fact that they're hungry, they're cold, or whatever it is. They don't have water, so they're fighting over resources and they're fighting for a way out, which again has a lot of parallels to what happens today. When people talk about why do black people join gangs, or just why are you out there killing each other? Well, because a lot of times you're in the situation where you don't see a way out. So you see how this kind of shit happens, and then you have this elite that has, because they keep jumping back and forth between this scene and then you're jumping to Chandrilla. So you're seeing these elites and all this food and all of this wine and the opulence. And then you're going back to the rebels who are poor. Then you're going back to the farmers who are poor. You're showing how the elite, they want the poor to keep fighting each other, because if we keep doing that, we're always going to be too busy to fight them. So this works out perfectly for them. So I think that the parallels that they were doing with this story, I think that they made sense and they were dope. I didn't even mind the fact that they settled their differences over some fucking rock, paper, scissors. I didn't even mind that shit.
I can't believe they did
That
that. Shit,
hey,
I wasn't
kid,
expecting it, but
hey kid, I related to that scene so much just because when I was living with my homeboys, we was living in a 3-bedroom apartment in Scottsdale, Decatur, and one of the bedrooms had a bathroom inside. It was the master bedroom. We was all like, "Who's gonna get it?" And we did a rock paper scissors thing, and it got intense. Kid, we was about to fight. Like, they was about to fight. So I understand. Like that's just like. And Jalen, you probably know this too. That's just like some frat boy thing where it's just like, bro, we got to go to simple games to solve our problems.
But I mean, it goes. I mean, we already know they're not really about that life. So it was like they didn't really want to. Like they probably would have if push came to shove. But I think more so, like they didn't really want to do that. They didn't really want to do that. They wanted to find and kill each other. I don't think. I don't think they.
They was trigger happy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They was trigger happy quick, bro.
They were over each other.
Mm-hmm.
Andor saw it.
I think that this was just they were running out of everything at this point. They were just like, look, we just need to end this shit so we can get off the fucking planet. But I do think they were about that life because they were shooting at each other earlier. They just chose in that moment to put the guns down.
I would have popped that nigga as soon as he dropped his gun if you really about that shit.
I was expecting that.
Exactly. That's what I would have did. Once they did that, I was like, y'all ain't really trying to kill these niggas. Y'all ain't really trying to do that.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Them blasters were flying. And the humor part is it's like this witty sarcasm that he had, which feels very true to life. Like if you see somebody doing something, y'all all got smart ass mouths. Y'all would say some shit like some slick shit that Andor was saying in there, which made it very relatable with when you're watching them run around doing like goofy ass, dumb ass shit. So yeah, I agree with you guys on how they did that because Andor, he is a bit of a smart ass.
Well, while they're playing that dumbass game, Cassian manages to figure out a way to get himself free, and then a monster attacks and eats a couple of them. But what did you think of the scene that went down and how Cassian actually got away? Did this kind of bother you, Ken?
No, I think he saw that in there, that gun earlier or something like that.
So he was there.
Okay. So nah, he was kind of setting it up. You know, he was giving them a little bit of game, you know, about the water and how to store water, you know, so trying to get them to let the guard down, you know, to kind of trust him a little bit. But he was just really waiting for opportunity, and he had positioned himself in a situation where he was able to get the compartment over to get the gun. So it was fine. It was fine.
Damn. Nick, was it fine?
I thought it made sense. Like, and of course it was me like being like, bro, please get to the ship and let's get the fuck up out of here. We got other shit to do. Because I was also thinking like how long he's been there. Like, I'm like, that fucks up the whole timeline because I'm thinking about, you know, Bix and them on that planet, like how they're waiting on him and he's just being delayed because of this bullshit. So I really liked it. Like he got up out of there and left them there. And I kind of sort of felt bad for them because they all look like kids when when your daddy pull away and he ain't coming back.
They have seen that before, Nick. They know what that look like.
That's crazy. They did it twice in the same week. That's fucked up. But I was fine with it. I was like, all right, that was just, we were there for that time. Now we moving on.
Yeah, I would have picked up my blast and popped every one of them dumb fuck. We over here fighting and we let the fucking shit go that was gonna get us off this planet. Fuck all y'all niggas. I would have popped all them niggas after that shit.
And then you would have something to eat.
I was thinking that too, Ken. I was thinking like eventually they're gonna eat each other.
Yeah.
Or the beast would have had something to eat. He ain't go fuck with me for a minute. So shit. Either way. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with the escape. I thought the escape was fine. I thought it made sense. I was lost at first, and then I was like, oh no, that's his ship. Because I was like, how the hell he just know out of nowhere a gun right there? I was like, but then I was like, oh, it's his ship. So yeah, it all makes sense.
Yeah, he said that, but it was kind of quick when they first landed. He said that was his old ship. But I think that so one of y'all was saying that, you know, they'll probably kill each other at the end of the day. But when Cassian leaves, if you notice, when they look down, they're all one group, right? So I think that's the kind of message of this particular episode, is that if they had all been working together, this all would have worked out. If they had not started fighting each other, they would have been in a better position. But because of what happened, they're all fucking left on the planet alone with no food and no way out. But odds are they're probably going to go back to being one team again, because now there's nothing to fight for. There's nothing to fight over. But something that was actually really interesting that I didn't notice until I watched, because I had to watch this shit twice. The two towers. Did y'all notice those two towers when the ship was leaving?
Is that the same place from in episode 9?
They're no.
Okay.
Wait, what's episode 9? Which place are you talking about?
The shitty, the very shitty one, the last one from the sequel trilogies.
The very shitty one. No. Where they're at, they're actually on the planet Yavin 4. So they're actually on the planet that we see in episode 4 when the rebels are setting up the base. The base is already, I don't know if it's already on that planet, but it's going to be on that planet. The tower that you see when Andor is leaving, that tower is where the rebel base is. So the whole point is these dumb fucks, all they had to do was just wait a little bit longer, band together, and the rest of the rebellion would already be coming there. So they just fucked up by fighting each other, killing each other for fucking nothing. But I thought that was actually a cool little thing that they dropped in there. But all right, so we're gonna jump over to Mina Rao again, which I guess is another part of the story that y'all not big fans of, but we see more of Space Ice looking for people to lock up, and we find out they're going from station to station doing thorough checks. But how did you feel about the initial convo between Bix and the Imperial officer who was trying to spit some game, Nick?
That wasn't spitting game, bro. That was some creepy shit.
That might be the same thing for a lot of dudes these days, though.
I hope not, because Bix wasn't with it at all. Early, I wasn't either. I was like, oh, that's Andy girl, bro. I don't know why you over there. I'm glad she said, like, oh, I got a husband. He about to come back soon. He was like, what? He was like, what time?
Yeah, he ain't here, is he? I don't feel
You ain't got no ring on your finger,
right?
What this scene made me realize is like more so of like the people that work for the Empire, because right before some of them get killed, sometimes it was like, oh, we were just following orders. I'm like, these are the ones, this is the reality of that. Some of them were just on the same shit, or it allowed them to have power to do things that they've always probably wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I took from this, was just more of like, he was a dirtbag regardless if there was going to be an empire or not. But the fact that he's now in a position of power, he's able to utilize that to his advantage in ways that obviously we don't want to see, and neither does Bix. But that's what I took from that.
Definitely an abuse of power, and he's probably done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not to episode 3 yet.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, just even the idea of having that conversation, just probing
Did you get that from him initially when he first showed up? Like, you got creep vibes, of course, but did you get like extreme creep vibes?
Yeah. The moment he started talking, I was like, "Oh,
he gonna try to do." I knew he was gonna try to do something to her.
yeah."
That's when, especially when he asked about like where your husband at, or like, or she even asked that. She brought him up, and he was like, "Where he at?" I was like, "Oh, he gonna try to do something."
Yeah. It was off. He was definitely trying to push up on her, which makes me think that that he's been in that position before, doing these little raids and stuff like that. Because he was talking about, oh, we've been checking visas. And wait, was that in 302? Well, either way,
that was this one.
Okay, yeah. So, which again, it's crazy that they wrote this before everything that happened. Because when he said like illegals and we've been checking visas, so we know all this, that, and the other, I was like, damn, this shit feels very accurate to present day. But yeah, he was definitely a creeper.
Hey, but Big's the one, ain't it? Shit. Tim out here snitching on niggas and trying to make sure she good. Andor going through firefights for her. Hey, man.
Hey, Jayla, I don't blame. Hey, if I'm Andy too, I'm doing the same shit, bro. Fuck all that shit. I'm saving it for episode 3, but we gonna talk about what Andy did, boy.
I mean, I didn't get creep vibes automatically. I thought more so that he was gonna snitch when he first walked up. Like he knew something was off, and he was gonna like tell. And as he continued to talk to him, like, oh, and you're gonna use that to your advantage. I could feel that the more he asked questions, but immediately I didn't feel like he was a super creep. And then he probably would have tried something in if is it Brazo or Brazo? Brazo. If he didn't pull up, he probably would have been like, I don't really give a damn about none of that stuff you talking about. But yeah, I definitely could feel like he was power hungry by the end of the scene.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't get super creep vibes. I definitely got creep vibes, like he's a loser because he basically just walked up on her, asked her on a date, which is weird as fuck. But I got that he thought something was off, and the way my mind went was that he was gonna use the fact that he knew something was off to get her to go out with him. That's what I thought was gonna, or like go hang out with him. And I was like, well, this is weird. I don't want to see a Star Wars date. That's just goofy. But I was definitely getting off vibes from this dude, especially because he rolled up by himself. So I thought the entire thing was a trap. But I like how they set this whole thing up, which we'll get into with episode 3. But let's jump to Cyril Karn and Dedra Marrow. Nick, I can't remember if it was you or Rod that was going on and on about how you thought that Cyril had like a weird crush on her, and that they had a moment when he saved her when she was getting her ass whooped.
Hey, Mike, this was randomly one of my favorite side stories of the first 3 episodes. Seeing their domestic life together. It was just like, I don't know why, I just like seeing that shit.
Were you surprised that they were shacking up?
I was surprised that their relationship went that quickly. I thought we were going to see more of a progression. Like they were like, at least like their first date or something like that. Not the fact that we go from season 1 to season 2. Like, damn, they already, like you said, Mike, they already living together. He over here talking about some, baby, we ain't got to go back to work till tomorrow for real. She's like, nah, nigga, we ain't canceling this shit. Oh no, I think he was talking about the other thing in episode 3. I was thinking it was more about work. But nonetheless, I like seeing their dynamic and how they gel together. Their relationship is actually really interesting because she does things for him and he does things for her. You can kind of see that as it plays out. But yeah, I was happy for well, I know he's working for the wrong side, but for this little domestic thing, I was happy. He got a girl and everything that fuck with him. You know what I mean? Everybody need love, Ken.
Yeah, she liked that. Rewatching it, you see it even more. Just the way he was very authoritative over her at times. Remember when she tried to walk off and he grabbed the arm and shit, and she was like, "I can have you arrested."
You remember that? Quinny nigga ain't damn authoritative.
He was more so,
bro.
Ken. He was more. I feel like he was more so empowered by the law. So anything that was the law, he was like, I'm using that as my influence to do whatever. But him by himself, now you a punk ass nigga.
Oh yeah, by himself,
Yeah.
yeah. But with her, he was assertive.
No, Ken.
No.
No, Ken. He grabbed it like, baby, don't go. That's how he
Yes.
grabbed it. He ain't grab it like,
That was a desperation
come here, girl.
grab,
No, he's like,
Ken.
baby, don't leave me. I really want to save you. I want to save everything. Like, that's how he grabbed it. Nigga ain't got no authoritative bone in him.
Oh, I just watched it.
You-
I look at it differently.
That dude
He
was
wasn't even
lame, Ken.
authoritative. He wasn't authoritative on the first mission when they first went to get Andor. Like,
No,
he
not
was
with
getting
them,
carried.
but with her though. He had a different approach with her, but we don't have to relitigate all that. It was just like watching. I was like, oh, he was able to, like, the way he was, his demeanor with her was created an attraction that she had for him because of that. You know,
I think her attraction comes from she's usually in the position of not being as authoritative. Like, she wants to be, she wants to continue to move up, but in the room, like, I can feel the power dynamics in all the rooms she's in most of the time. So this one, he actually allows her to do that. Like, she can feel the way she can treat him in a sense. Like, and that's what she's more attracted to, because that's why she took up for him too. Because like, this my hoe now. Like, you ain't gonna treat him like this. This is my hoe. I can do this to him, and that's it. You chill out. I'm the pimp now. That's basically what she's telling the mama.
yeah, I did like that conversation.
I agree 100% with Jalen. I don't think that he is in any control of anything in that household, and I think that's why it works. He's all about the law, but he thinks he's top dog. But when you really watch it, Cyril Karn ain't shit at all.
You see what he tried to do at work, Mike, when he was training that trainee. He tried to act like he was like, nigga, this is what I did. We look at you saying like, this is how I became Mr. Nigga.
That is exactly where I was gonna go. Is like, in his brain, he thinks he's big shit, but he's not. He's like, oh, I got some people in trouble because they were misusing funds. He's telling the same type of stories that the guy told that was walking him around the office. Yeah. So now he's the guy that walks people around the office when he really wants to be out in the streets, you know, actually doing shit. But no, I think Dedra Marrow runs that entire household. Cyril Karn ain't got no balls whatsoever.
Yeah. Telling that nigga like, I built this shit brick by brick. It ain't brick.
Who do I trust? Me. Nah, bro. Nobody's impressed by you at all. But I think that I was not expecting them to be shacked up at all.
Really?
Not at all.
Either.
Not at all.
I thought she was using him.
Like, what?
Yeah. Using him what way? What do you mean?
I thought maybe they were using it as just like optics. I didn't think they were actually like together until the mom came over. When the mom came, I was like, oh, this is serious. I thought it was just.
Oh no!
I can't wait. I can't wait till we get to the mama part. That's that.
Oh yeah! As soon as he was like, "Yo, we can wait another day," I was like, "Oh no, they wouldn't have made that a thing." Especially after he rescued her.
He was saying we could wait another day before, which we'll find out, the mother comes over. He was trying to push that back.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Like, I never, even when they first showed them, I was like, "There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. They're dating." So when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, she's absolutely using him or manipulating him for something. But when they finally show, they're like, nah, they're really in a. I was like, okay, I will stand corrected. I was wrong last season, but I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually, because I think that their dynamic is really interesting. And I have a feeling that before all of this is over, one of them is going to turn. One of them is going to turn away from the Empire. I don't think they're both going to stay on the same side. And I think the same thing about Andor's crew. I don't know which one, but I feel like somebody there is going to be a turncoat. But we get to Mon Mothma and them. Did y'all care about Mon Mothma's bitch ass husband being all jealous about her cheating or some shit? Did y'all care about this?
Nah, not for real, because he a bitch ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, she deserved to get some good dick every now and then for somebody. You know
you think she's sleeping with him though, or he was just?
No,
yeah, I didn't think so.
He was just complaining. But I'm saying that even if she was, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, what did you think about when we finally find out what's really going on with Tay and why he's been acting weird?
I thought it was funny that Jay. I thought it was funny that he be sauced up all at the party, being loose with the secrets and
Stay
shit.
drunk, bro. And they got that good wine, Nick, and he's broke.
Hey, Mike, you know you got some good shit based by how the glass look.
Yeah,
Them little Star Wars glass up in the upper echelon, bro. Them motherfuckers was, bro. That was debonair. You know what I'm saying? This nigga got he drink. It ain't no rum. It ain't no bullshit. He drinking that good shit. He getting sauced up every night. Even Cuz was like, look, nigga, don't he know how these parties go? He grew up like
nigga,
2000. He grew up down the block. Nigga, he know he ain't supposed to get sauced. This the first night, nigga. Hey, I was fucking with Tay. That's how reckless he was.
I like it a lot too. Like just the way he was talking to her, and she is acting her like she doing her thing for real. Because she was keeping her face in like this weird dynamic of like trying not to be frustrated and showing how like this shit is pissing me off that you're telling me this right now, but also like smiling at the same time. And like it was a balancing act, and she was really killing that shit. Like I could feel it.
I think people like us can appreciate it, and I say that purposefully because I'm like, that's code switching. You don't really get to see white people code switch in the moment like that. So I'm thinking about like how I am at work sometimes where it's like, I want to cuss you out, but I can't right now. I got to pretend like everything good. That's what I felt like. I love, to your point, like that was a really great acting on her.
But it'll be code switching with like your homeboy at your job. It's like this nigga done fuck some shit up, and you like, boy, I can't call you a nigga and call you the shit I would call you outside in front of these white folk. But damn, nigga, I really want to say this shit right now. But then that's exactly the feeling she was giving me.
You get they you know, when they first started talking and she rolled up on him asking for money, you know, they've had a lot of practice because she was like, smile like we just catching up, you know, when we talking, and they just talk, you know, business as your boy would say, Franklin Saint. But I just love the fact that we get to finally hear what was going on with him. You suspected it, like you was like, oh, this brother, he's struggling, you know, but him to come out and just say it in his way, and she's like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? Like, how the fuck are we gonna figure this shit out? And then later on, there was another idea that popped in my head. I want to run by you guys when we get there, if no one mentions it. But he was desperate, and he was trying to figure out a way to get out of this situation. So no wonder he's staying sauced up. He got to drink his sorrows away. He ain't got no money, bro.
And it's free liquor. It's free liquor.
He said, I just had a couple of investments go sour, going the wrong way because of this dumbass shit that I've helped fund.
Well, Ken, there's different levels to broke, so I'm not gonna feel. You know what I'm saying? Like he still had enough. He still got gas. Yeah, he got gas money to get there. He can dress nice and all that. He ain't broke. He ain't like how Andy was in the fucking desert. I mean,
I think he about to lose it all, bro.
Well, we also have to remember his wife also left him. He mentioned that.
Yeah,
his wife left him, and he's losing money. So he's
was he trying to push up on Mon Mothma?
No, not at all.
He was doing it for sympathy.
Oh.
No, he was doing it for sympathy partly, but also I think what he was doing was he was threatening her.
Yeah, he was
basically letting her know, like, look, I got shit else to lose. So unless you're about to give me some money, I'm gonna fuck your whole plan up.
Yeah, did he say, Mike? It was like, it seemed like everybody in the rebellion doing good but me.
That's what he said, yeah.
That's what he said. And that was where the threat was. He was like, look, all y'all motherfuckers dancing, you got these nice outfits on. I'm eating steakums, bro. This is bullshit. I'm only here for 2 days because y'all got food. Otherwise, I'd have been back at the house already.
He probably got a couple of them worms that they had in the first week. He probably got those in his pocket somewhere.
Star Wars government bread.
Hey, kid, he was taking food off the table and stuffing it in his pocket to go.
Probably was. You know, he was sneaking liquor out, definitely.
Boy, hey. He probably slept at the bar.
He probably did.
Well, that's the thing. I thought he was more so drinking because of his separation with his wife. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really think about the holistic of, because again, like upper echelon. So him saying, "Oh, I lost some money on some investments," I'm thinking, okay, he probably just lost some bread, but he's more so sad about losing his, his partner.
I think he's definitely fucked up because he lost a lot of money. I don't think it's a little bit of money. I think he lost a lot of money. And where the threat comes in, he was hinting that I've been hanging out with Davos. And if y'all remember, Davos Skolden was the guy that Mon Mothma had to go to and sell her daughter. Now,
that dude,
scumbag. He's a criminal. He's a gangster. All of this shit. So what I think when y'all were saying that she was given the face of kind of like she wants to cuss him out, I slightly disagree. I think that was the face of fear. She's terrified because she knows if he goes and tells Davos Skolden what they have going on, Davos Skolden is going to sell that information to the highest bidder.
Yep.
In a heartbeat. So they are fucked. So once again, she's now looking at it like I fucking sold my daughter. I put on this bullshit ass wedding. And now I'm still about to get all of them killed because this motherfucker that I went to can't keep his mouth shut. So I think she's terrified.
I think it's a balance, Mike, just because the way she was talking to damn, I can't remember these names. Luthen, like she was kind of still defending him, like because he's like kill that nigga, like take that nigga off the board, he done, he out of here. And she was kind of like, no, we grew up together. Like I feel like she still has some like empathy for him. Definitely. So she can have fear, but I think there's also a frustration. Like I think it's more it could be fear, but I feel like frustration because it's like, you supposed to be my nigga. Like, you doing this to me? Like, I think that's more so where it's coming from. Like, you could probably, she probably feels like he could ask for the money and I would give him the money if he needed it. But he's threatening me or like he's trying to use it against me. Like, I feel like it's a little bit more balanced than just straight fear.
I get you. I saw the scene as she saw her world crumbling again.
Yes.
And she was starting to bug out. I think at this point, she wants to save him because they're childhood friends. They grew up together. Now, but as the first season kind of implied, it's not like they hung out all the time. I think they hadn't seen each other in a while, if I remember correctly. But I think that a lot of what was going on was she was scared because she knew Luthen was going to kill that motherfucker. He knew that immediately. But I think what was interesting was she was trying to figure out a way to salvage all of this in the midst of her selling and pimping off her daughter. She now has this other thing to worry about. So I really liked this whole scene. Last thing I want to touch on for this episode, what did y'all think of Perrin's speech that he gave? Perrin's her bitch ass husband.
Oh, at the
that during the dinner, did y'all take anything from that where he's like, where he's talking about how pain will find you and, but the music is buried beneath all the noise. So just find the joy. Did y'all get anything from that?
Yeah, that's Trump talking about tariffs. It's going to be a little pain, but there's glory on the other side. Like,
I didn't. I can't remember it.
Yeah, I didn't really care. Like once he starts talking, Mike, I don't really give a fuck about. He don't be saying nothing important. So when he had to do his little, I was like, all right, bro, whatever he talking about.
You feel like his wife feels about him, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Nick Mothma is just over Perrin ass.
I'm over him, bro.
Nah, he had a couple of bars as far as like saying like they're just talking more so about getting through pain, or even saying like talking about marriage in general, like eventually like you and your partner, y'all gonna be beefing, but y'all will figure that shit out. Like it's still love there. So that's what I took from it.
I took it as, once again, they're cutting between them and the broke ass motherfuckers that are on Yavin. I took what he was saying, the whole pain will find you. It's going to knock at your door and you're not even looking for it, but just find the joy beneath all the noise. You look at this motherfucker, he's rich. And all he does is gamble. That's it. So this just, to me, it just represented the idea that the elites they don't worry about the plight of poor people. They're like, shit, I got what I need. And to them, noise is, or pain is, oh, we got into a little fight and I'm sad during my $1 billion wedding. You know what I'm saying? So I took it as they were just kind of showing that the elite have this mentality of not really worrying about the actual plight of people that are suffering. They just worry about themselves. Find the joy within the noise. That sounds like some shit that poor people will say to each other to cope. But when rich people say it, it's completely different. So I think, again, this just shows the writing of this show is just phenomenal to me. But unless anybody has anything else to say about episode 2, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last episode, episode 3.
Was this the episode when old girl tried to get with Mon Mothma's sister?
Huh?
Y'all don't remember that? When Mon Mothma's sister looked her up and down?
What old girl? Who are you talking about?
I can't. Luthen's assistant or whoever she is.
Was trying to get with Mon Mothma's sister?
Yeah, y'all don't remember that?
Is that her sister?
What are you talking about? Who are you?
Cousin.
Oh, the two ladies.
Yeah.
When they were both taking a drink, and she was asking her like, "What are you doing here?" And she was like, "I'm here on work." And she was like,
That was episode 1.
"Oh,
That was episode 1. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think she was trying to get with her. I didn't get that impression.
They were trying to. I think they were mostly trying to strategize how, like, if they're in the same space, how do they maneuver? They don't want to be on the same. Like, they don't want to seem like they. One may say we know each other, and the other one say we don't know each other because technically they only met once when she came last season, and they wanted to make sure they was on the same page and not get caught up in some bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on a maybe I missed it. I didn't pick up on her hitting on her.
Well,
this was at the party or whatever.
Yeah, I remember.
Because one part she was like, "We're just two single ladies looking at prospects and all that." But I took it as a like kind of a little bit of I was like, "Hold on, they got history? They got you know what I'm saying? Like it was something different about how they was talking to each other."
Huh.
Nah, her coochie taken.
Yeah, no,
taken by the other girl.
And she reminded Mon Mothma about that too afterwards. But okay, I was just asking.
Man.
No, you might be right. I just missed it. I don't know.
She in love with the dark meat.
Who? Yeah, she's still. Yeah, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. That's why I definitely didn't pick up on her hitting on Val because she's still in love with Cinta.
Yeah, Val, that's her name.
But again, maybe I missed something. I'm gonna have to go back and look again. But yeah. So this episode starts off with Cassian. He's stuck in the ship. he's trying to nigger rig the shit because he can't get the shit to do nothing. But he finally gets it straightened out, and he manages to call Clea, who is, I assume, the other woman you're talking about was hitting on Vel.
Mm-hmm.
In this moment, he finds out that the planet that Bix and Brasso are on has a blockade. So, Nick, were you surprised that he immediately said, "Fuck the mission, I'm going to save my homies"?
No, for two reasons. One, Bix. Should be my only reason, but yeah. One, Bix. Two, he been on that planet with the Rose for 2 days. He was like, "Nigga, fuck with all you talking about. Your plan was shit." Because we forgot to mention that the pilot he was supposed to be got killed by the rebels, or at least that's what we assuming. So he's like, "Nigga, whoever y'all had wasn't there. All that shit fucked up. What's up with my baby girl? What's going on with my homeboy?" And they was like, "Look, nigga, we can't tell you shit, but just hold on." He was like, "Nigga, I've been holed up for 2 days upside down. Nigga, fuck all that shit. I'm gonna go get my niggas. I'm gonna go get my niggas."
Yeah, and that was the wrong plane. They weren't supposed to get a TIE fighter, right?
No, they were supposed to get a TIE fighter, but not that one. So that's not the TIE fighter that he learned how to pilot, which is why this shit was actually interesting. This is a TIE fighter we haven't seen before.
Really?
It's bigger. So when y'all were talking about it being, really big inside, yeah, this was bigger than a normal TIE fighter. This was, so I had to look it up. This is the prototype of there's another TIE fighter called the TIE Interceptor, which is the one that Vader was flying in. I was like, what the fuck is that? I forget which movie it was now. Was it? Oh, it was New Hope. If y'all remember when he comes in that TIE fighter, but it had like the weird bent wings. I believe this is an early version of that. I think. I could be wrong, but I think. But yeah, he was supposed to be stealing a different TIE fighter. So when he walked in and was like, "Oh, these controls are all fucked up," that's why he couldn't fly it.
Okay, but probably close enough to where he was able to maybe figure it out. Either way it go, that shit was dope. But yeah, I knew immediately he was gonna take off because and go save her because he went through a lot to get it the first time, and of course everything had went to shit already. But man, when he said he was upside down for 2 days, that shit, man, that shit was so funny too.
Because when we did see it, that nigga was just like this.
He was mad as hell, Nick.
He was mad. He was upset. He was upset, bro. He was like, hell nah, fuck all y'all. I ain't trying to hear that right now.
Hey, but he learned how to turn that motherfucker around, didn't he? It weren't upside down anymore because he was on his way back.
I actually wonder. I don't know if he meant literally upside down. I think he meant like he's been fucked up in a bad way. But I thought literal too because of the ship. So I actually don't know if he meant literal or not. Now, if he really was upside down for 2 days, that's funny as shit. And I do mad as fuck too. But yeah, so from this, we go ahead and we jump into the Dedra Marrow story. So this is what y'all been waiting to talk about, it sounds like. So Jalen, we see that they're all dressed up because they're actually meeting Cyril's mother. How did you feel about the first meeting? How it went down and how Dedra slapped the shit out of Cyril's mama? Metaphorically.
Man, I would have told his mama to shut the fuck up 5 minutes in, bro. She was getting on my nerve, boy. Like, she just kept talking, and then she was throwing shots after shot after shot. She was talking about her food. She was talking about every damn thing in there. I would have been told, like, hey, bro, we ain't doing this here. But what was funny was when that nigga left the room and the way he was laying on the bed.
Yo, he was laying on the bed like his dog just died, and he was like he had his asshole ready, bro. He was just like, "Come take me, you know what I like." I was like, Jesus Christ, bro.
Oh my gosh, bro. The way he acting his ass off too, all pun intended. Well, like that motherfucker, he looked like a dweeb. Like he's I don't know. Like it's just like he's pathetic. Like, but I love how his mama came in. It was just I love how his mama sassy as hell, and he can't do nothing about it. Like she break that nigga down every chance.
He be trying to, Nick.
Oh man,
he tried so.
He was. I wasn't trying to play cop. Okay. I was like, you in front of my girl too.
He was like, Mom, you dripping. She like, it's all right.
It pissed me off so bad. She dripped all that cheese on her table.
Hey, Mike, when she was like, you don't look like who I thought you would look like. And she was like, oh, okay. She's like, you don't want to know what I thought you looked like. I'm afraid to ask.
And she never even said, she never entertained it. She didn't even go back. She just left it alone.
Oh my God, this scene was so uncomfortable.
Oh, I loved it, Mike. I loved every part. I almost wish we could have had a whole episode of them.
Oh my God.
Because when she would ask her, she was like, so what's your family like? She's like, I ain't got one. She's like, my people was criminals, and I grew up in a foster or Imperial foster care sounds horrendous, by the way. And then she was like, well, I guess she was like, ain't no way a cookie cutting around that shit.
She like, you never know what a mother's love was like. Like she was throwing shots, bro. That shit was funny.
But Dedra threw one back. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she threw it back because of how she treats her son. She was like, apparently I didn't miss much. If I could have got a mom just like you, which I thought was. But
that was the only one. That was the only shot she really threw the whole time, outside of when she really. She really checked. That nigga got up off that bed. He heard them giggling in there. That nigga got up off that bed and came around the corner. Them big ass wall, them open spaces, nigga. I know you heard them talking the entire time.
Well, I like that. Again, I just like their relationship. Like Mike, I was surprised at how much she cares about him to stick up for him in front of his mom off rip. She was like, I'm gonna tell you this, but I don't want it to sound like it's an option. This is how it's gonna be. Like, you ain't ever gonna talk to him like that. He gonna still call you. You can still visit him, but that's only based off the fact of if he likes, the conversation that's going on. Like, I love that support of, like, I thought the mama was even gonna be like, oh damn, like, you gained a lot of respect out of me from that. You know what I'm saying? So I just I love seeing their loving relationship, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Here's the question though: is it a loving relationship? Did she do that because she cares about him, or did she do that because that's mine? And you're stepping in, and you're stepping into my role, and you're going off on my man. So I'm not sure yet. I don't know if she did that because she's genuinely like, I love this man, I care about this man, and I don't want his feelings hurt. Versus, you came into my house and took it over and started barking off orders and rules. So I don't know yet.
Could it be both?
Nah.
You don't think it could be both? Because just because like I don't know if we knew about her family dynamic as far as like her not having parents, them being
I don't think we did.
So like to me, it's like because like I talked to some girls from the hood, you know what I'm saying? And they have some rough upbringings and they express their love a little bit differently, but that's still what they call love. You can argue about if that's true love or not, but it's like that's maybe their only way of expressing like I care about this person because I take ownership of this person and their feelings and like you know what I'm saying. Like again, like I know it may sound weird, but that's I'm taking it as what it is because we've never seen her be nice to anybody except for him in this way.
I think that's kind of what I mean is I don't even know that we saw her necessarily being nice to him because like that moment, I forget what he had said, but he said something and she kind of like, it looked like she was trying to do like a sensual like shush thing.
Oh yeah.
Like she was trying to choke his ass. Like it looked weird.
She heavy-handed, Mike. She heavy-handed. How you gonna be sensual in an Imperial foster home? Like, where's she learning that? You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm giving her grace. Now you could be right because of course you know about this universe more than I do. But from what I'm seeing, it's like that's the weird love shit they do. You know,
her upbringing, Imperial foster home, could definitely explain why she comes across very cold.
Yeah, definitely.
And his upbringing, which was very overbearing and verbally abusive and emotionally abusive, explains why he's off. They're two off people.
Yeah,
that's in this
right.
That's in this relationship. We know it's a year later. We don't know how long they've been together and living together, but they just have an awkward way of showing affection to one another. Because I saw that too when he was trying to delay the meeting of the mom, and she was like, "No, we're gonna do it." And she's in there trying to pick out the black or the white dress and stuff, whatever she was gonna wear. And she
smiles.
And then it did look like she was trying to be like, no, like this thing, but she just went to almost damn near a chokehold.
Yeah,
but it was really weird.
But you see, he smiled at the end of that, like, okay, I was like, they into some freaky shit.
It's like his mother. She controls him the same way his mother did. I think that's why he's attracted to her. And that's partly why the relationship works.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I don't think it's love neither. I think it's just this is the toy I control now, and nobody else can have it but me.
Sometimes that's love too, Jay.
I don't know. I think they just got a weird thing.
That ain't love, my boy. I want more for you, Nick. That ain't love, my boy.
Sometimes you got to take it how you can take it. She the baddest thing he ever gonna have, probably. So he like shit. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? She give me a place. She give me a cot, 3 squares, and she cuss out my mama for me. He in heaven right now.
Yeah, and after rewatching, the mom was like, she was a dick, bro. Like, like he had to go home to mom.
I love that mama, bro.
Man,
I hope
she was in there.
Yeah,
you go. Maybe she was in that movie with Brandy, and she had a pretty recurring role last season too.
Oh, she was the old lady in
the front
Brandy
room. I think that's her.
Oh,
I think that's her.
That might be her. I didn't catch that.
I'm surprised y'all watched that, boy.
That movie was great. Anyway, so after this, we jump over to Mina-Rao, however you pronounce this planet, and we are back with Bix, Brasso, and Willman. And Brasso finds out from Kellen. Kellen is the kind of, I guess he's like the boss or whatever.
Yeah.
That the inspectors are going to be there the following day and they need to leave. So they plan to leave at sundown until they see an Imperial ship show up which pushes them to leave immediately. But this fool Willman had to go see his girl.
You gotta see the white girl.
Why you hating, Nick? He's half white. Gotta be at least half.
Well, he was half wrong with it. He should have took that speedster somewhere else, not out to her. Especially if you're gonna park it in the front. Like, come on, bro. Like, I knew this was gonna be trouble once Bix was making fun of him and that relationship earlier. He was thirsty and shit. I like that's the humor that I think you're talking about, Jalen. That's actually pretty good. But once I said the speech, I was like, oh, he gonna get him fucked up, or he gonna die trying to see his little white girl, or whatever. But it actually went into a completely different direction, which I appreciated.
Okay, so Jalen, what did you think about what went down with the Imperial officer and Bix?
Man, I was uneasy. Like it was. I get it. I just don't like it. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I'm a hoe when it comes to stuff like this. But I did like the way she fought that nigga off when that nigga needed to die. I'm glad the way he died was well deserved. Like she hit that nigga once with whatever she had, hit him that second time, and that nigga ain't even make it to the second step out the door.
hey, Jay, that shit was funny. He was
the scream.
He was the pure. He was the pure textbook definition of like dumbfounded.
Hey, but the crazy part is, why they got the black man on the job sleeping, then waking up the snitch, bro? Why the fuck they do that, Mike?
Because Negroes will be Negroes, even in a galaxy far away. That's why.
Got him in a field, sleep under the job, and snitching. That is crazy.
Come a long way, man.
And then when she's telling him like, this dude tried to rape me, he was like, well, he dead now. I can't hear his side. Yeah. I can't hear his side of the story.
I got this shoddy blaster, nigga. She had the shoddy blaster for that nigga.
He was scared as shit to go in that room.
Wouldn't you?
In that house. Bro, he called for backup like 2 or 3 times before he got off that bike or that whatever he was on. He was like, "There's some shit going on." I'm here yelling.
You hear a scream like that, you don't go in by yourself.
Yeah,
that's why he got scream like that.
He called back. He called back up like it was a gaggle of them. He was like, "Come here, they ambushing us."
Man,
yeah. Oh yeah, dude was like, he said, I'm so stressed. He said, my shoulders. He said, you look like you got some strong hands.
He said, help me relieve it. Hey, that was the only time I laughed, kid, when he was like, you trying to give that sad puppy dog look like, oh, I'm so stressed. Can you help me relieve it? And I'm like, bro.
Yeah, it was like, bro, that's all you got.
So this is a very controversial thing. This is the first time that I know of that sexual assault has been mentioned in Star Wars at all. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I don't think I have a problem with it because I think the show has been very clear from the beginning that it's not for children. Mm-hmm. So if that's people's argument, I'm not really feeling it. Because I mean, the first episode starts off with Andor shooting a motherfucker in the face. So this is clearly not for kids. However, I sort of understand the opinion of this is odd for Star Wars. This is a bit much for Star Wars.
Really?
But, well, yeah, because this is in this universe, we've never seen, sure, Vader fucking killed children, but we've never necessarily seen something like this. Now, the reason I don't have an issue with it, and the reason I think that, I've seen a lot of folks on Twitter bugging out, including a very popular Star Wars YouTuber who I think is a fucking turd. But the reason I think that they're missing the fucking point is because, once again, this show is very clearly showing how fascism rises and what happens during fascism. This is a very common thing with fascist soldiers, or soldiers in general, really. But this happens. So I don't know why we would think that the Star Wars universe would be different just because we have fucking space wizards and fucking laser swords. But like I said, if episode 3 can show that Vader is killing a bunch of fucking toddlers, then why are we bugging out about this?
That's what I was going to, Mike. It was like we could do all this other shit in Star Wars, but we can't do this. Or all this other stuff in Star Wars happens, but this like rape doesn't happen, especially when you're talking about like stormtroopers and Imperials who are going into these homes of poor people who they can easily take advantage of.
Right.
I'm sure they steal from them too. I'm sure they do all types of shit. You don't think this is like, that's why I was like, I thought it was just more so bold, the fact that like this is a Disney show that's talking about this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a popular Disney show that's going in this direction. But I had no problem with it at all because I looked at it like, if you're gonna show us scumbag, like if you're gonna show us the war room where they talk about spreading diseases and spreading propaganda and doing all this other stuff, then how can you not show us this part of it as well? Like, how would this be any different than that?
I agree. If this was in one of the actual movies, like if this was in episode 10, I would understand the complaint. But Andor set up from the beginning, this is not for your children to sit here and watch. So I'm with it. And I don't think they went too far. I think they just went far enough. And again, he's making a point. So I fuck with it. I don't fuck with rape, obviously, but I fuck with the fact that the
honesty of it.
Yeah, that they were honest enough to put this in the show. So yeah, after Bix kills the rapist officer and his little partner, Cassian shows up and saves the day. Ken, what did you think about how this went down?
I liked it, man. Cassie, he came through with a vengeance, and I love the confusion about the troops. You know, it's like, oh, that's kind of insane what was going on. Very unfortunate what happened to Brasso. But yeah, I overall did enjoy this scene.
What about you, Jalen?
The whole sequence was dope, even from like them being on the speeder, like and like how it was shot on the speeder, and how like the visual effects look great. The way Andor came in on the TIE fighter looked good. The way like having the stormtroopers run the way they did, and I'm wondering if the shot that got Brazo is the one where they were zooming in on the stormtrooper and he was locked in. Like, and so that like just the little nuances that they were doing in this scene with the action, I think that's what really makes it great. Because if you go back, you could find different things that were going on that you didn't catch if you were just letting the scene play. So yeah, this was real good, and another cliffhanger. Like this left us in a good spot too.
You feel that way too, Nick?
I hated how they killed him off screen, but I didn't realize how they did it, like how you mentioned, Jalen. So I have to rewatch it again. But I felt sad, man, because Andy's just getting all his people like taken, and like that's like his brother, because he grew up with him too. Like unlike Mon Mothma and Tay, like we actually seen, I think, didn't we get a few flashbacks or something like with Andy?
Maybe not flashbacks, but we knew they were homies.
So I was also surprised he didn't bring his body on the ship. I know it'd probably be like, we're gonna be up in space, it's probably gonna stink, but still, it's just like that's so, you know what I'm saying? That's like a friend of yours. Like I wouldn't want you to just leave him out in the field. Like
I don't think he did, Nick.
I was hoping he wouldn't, because I was like, bro, he looked like he was gonna wake up. Like he was just, he did.
He's definitely dead. Yeah, I think he didn't bring the body because he didn't want Bix and Willman to see it. I think what we're seeing here is, first of all, that's his best friend. They established that. So him dying was extremely sad because, like you said, Nick, he lost his mother, and now he lost his best friend during this whole thing. He didn't, if you watch, when Bix and Willman roll up and they're yelling for him, Cassian kind of peeks up and he looks over and he looks back at Brazo's body, and then he chooses to run towards the ship. What he's doing is he's hiding them from having to see that. So I thought that this scene was beautifully done. I get not, the whole thing of, them, I guess not liking the fact that he was killed off screen, but I think they did that specifically so they can show Cassian finding the body. So then we as the audience, we're all seeing it at the same time. Gotcha. So I thought it was done really well. It was very obvious when the stormtrooper, because the rest of them are just shooting wild. There's one that holds it up and goes really slow and aims. And I was like, oh, he's about to kill him, or at least shoot him. But seeing him actually die, I was like, fuck, man. But I think the other reason that they were okay leaving the body there is he's been with that woman.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about too. I was like, she's gonna come back and see that her, I don't know if they're married or not, but like her partner is gone. Like I was just thinking about all that.
That
Well,
got snitched, right?
Yeah.
That's part I don't know for a fact.
He snitched.
But I couldn't tell if because if you watch it, when he's on the ground, he looks up at him, he kind of gives him a look, and then Kellum gives him the look back. So I couldn't tell if that was Brazo saying that just to make sure that the rest of the family was safe.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I was gonna ask y'all what y'all took from that part.
I didn't think about it from that point, but because like when he looked at him, he looked like he was about to smile, then he stopped. I don't know. He gave a weird face. Like I don't know if he was like sinister like that. But to your point, like because I'm like, why would he snitch on him after doing all that? Like it didn't make sense unless. But then I'm also thinking like the Empire or the troopers could like really kind of like torture you and force you to say shit. So I don't know. I took it as he was a punk ass nigga, but you may be right, Mike.
Until Mike said that, I thought he snitched just because the way he was reacting to it, and also thinking about he told them he would have till tomorrow, knowing like, and then they came earlier. They even came before sundown. So I don't know because I don't know. I thought more he snitched just because like you would assume that they would come tomorrow. Like if you had the details that you said you had, you would have at least told them to move faster, but you didn't. So
I think they came early because of Bix. I think they came early because that other dude that was talking to Bix knew that something was up. So he was like, let's go back now. That's what I think. I need to watch it again, but I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure if he snitched or not. But I thought that this was a brilliant way to end this part of the story. So now we see that Bix is definitely fucked up because she's already having PTSD from being tortured. She's now been, an attempted sexual assault. And during that same moment, she lost, Brazo. And then we're also, I'm interested to see how this affects Willman, because I'm sure he's going to blame himself.
As he should.
And what's going to happen with B2, because B2 is left on the planet. So all of these things I think was such a dope way to end the scene. Now, yeah, Willman should blame himself, but Brazo probably would have got killed regardless, because they were after him. I don't think that they would have gotten away. I really don't. But anyway it goes, I thought that this ending to their story was dope. But the last story of the episode, we go back to Chandrilla and we see Mon Mothma talking to her daughter, but y'all already talked about that. I was like, this little heifer needs her ass whooped. She should have slapped the shit out of her. Don't talk to me like that. I wish you were drunk. I wish I was drunk too. Goddamn. I wish I was drunk too.
I got her. I understood what she was saying, Mike, because again, I'm assuming she looks like a teenager. So I'm thinking this is like a teenager rebelling and doing some shit she don't want to do. And Mon Mothma knows that this is some bullshit too. So it's kind of like, I don't really got much to say to you. I'm just trying to say this, but it just sounds like bullshit because I'm clearly just saying shit. I just like her daughter calling her out on it. Like, nigga,
I don't think she was saying bullshit. I think she's starting to feel guilty.
Yep, I agree.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say, but I get you feeling guilty, but you're still going through with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, I feel like it's almost, this is not the same. I'm bad with analogies, but I feel like kind of like with Joel when spoiler alert, when he does what he does in the hospital to save Ellie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like he felt he didn't want to do that, but he felt he had to do that. You know what I mean?
Man, he wanted to do that shit.
It's the greater good, bro.
That's
Sacrifice one.
That's what I'm saying. He's sacrificing that for.
But I think this is different because she even gave it an option. She was like, "If you really don't want to do this, we won't do it."
That's a lie.
And she told her that just straight there. Yeah, that's for her. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but she did say it because she did feel the guilt of it. So she was trying to find a way of like making herself like feel better about it. And it probably would have been easy to sell. Like, my daughter just doesn't want to do it. I can't force my daughter to do this.
Right.
But her daughter is so conditioned and I think her daughter's brainwashed by the Empire to the fact that she's like, whatever I need to do, I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm gonna be a good servant, and like you're going to get the program. I think her daughter knows what's up too. I think her daughter knows something because
I don't think
last
her
season
daughter knows.
it's just last season when the daughter was doing her lessons and everything. It's like, why does she have a big beef with her mom? Like it's just like we don't have any backstory. It's just they beefing for what?
She a rich white girl, bro.
That's exactly what I took too, Nick. I think that what it is what they showed in the last season was that it wasn't that she's brainwashed by the Empire. She's falling into that religion. So she's
That's what I
really
meant. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so she's kind of indoctrinated by that religion.
There you go. That's the good word. Yeah.
Why she's mad at her mom, I don't know for certain, but I took it as the dad just sits at home fucking gambling and shit. So he's like the fun part of the relationship. The mom is the one that's always working. She's a senator. She's always, away. So the daughter's just a fucking asshole and just takes it out on her. That's what I took. Now, if there's more to it, I hope they reveal at some point, but that's all I got. But it could be that she knows something. Maybe she does. I don't know. I don't know how she would have learned about anything, though. That would be the interesting part, is how did she figure it out?
Because she was looking at her and Tay even weird. Like when Tay came over there in the last season and they were having the conversation, she was looking at him like, what the fuck is he over here? Like, who is he and why to have a conversation?
Remember what her dad told her? In the last season, Perrin said that that's mom's boyfriend.
But this was before that. This is when they first met. It was at the very first gathering that they had when she was first talking to Tay again.
Right.
And her daughter. But she didn't know that was like they had something in the past. Her dad told her that later.
Are we sure that he told her that later? I don't know that.
Yeah, that's my belief. I could be wrong, but
okay,
I'm
maybe
pretty
I'm
sure
wrong.
he told her later. And I'm looking at it like, why are you being weird with him? He ain't like you should just at least be polite. But maybe she knew then, like y'all up to something that y'all shouldn't be doing.
Okay. That would be an interesting angle. I'm here for it. I just always assumed she was looking at him like that because the dad is a jealous little bitch, and he said like, "Oh, your mom is cheating on me with this dude." That's how I've always took it, because she acts like she's mad at mom because mom is breaking up the household. So I always thought that she also thought that she was cheating on her or cheating on him.
But you also know how things are, Mike. When as you get older as a kid, you realize what parent actually was the good parent. You know what I'm saying? Like once you are able to see them as humans and not as I guess these motherly, fatherly figures.
Yeah. So Ken, when Tall or Tay, when Tay makes it clear that he's been hanging out with Davos, and it's clear that he's hinting that he has dirt and he's willing to use it, what did you think about that conversation that Mon had with Luthen about it?
Well, it's over for Tay. Damn. But I wondered after Davos introduced Luthen and they were talking about that statue. This is a question I have for you guys. Is I wonder if Luthen set this whole thing up.
Which whole thing?
Just her getting into this financial bind to force her to go to Tay to get to Luthen to get the families married to gain more power.
I don't think so, because I don't see how he would know that Mon would go to Tay and then Tay would go to Davos.
Because Tom works for the banks and they have a friendship.
Wait, who works for the bank?
Tay worked for the banks.
Right.
So,
but how would he know that? How would he know that Mon would automatically? He doesn't want Mon Mothma to go to Davos, because Davos is a scumbag, and if he knows that there's a rebellion going on, then their entire plan is fucked. Which is why he has to kill Tay off.
Okay. So yeah, it was just something weird about when Davos brought Luthen up. And it seemed like they kind of knew each other.
They do. Luthen sells him antiques. So Luthen is essentially using him for money. Now, again, with this show, I don't fucking know. What you're saying could absolutely be the case. I don't really understand it, but I wouldn't be mad if they went that way because Luthen is a planner.
Yeah,
But he seemed genuinely pissed the fuck off when he found
this is
out
true.
that Tay was going to go to Davos.
It was Mon Mothma's reaction when she saw Luthen go up there. And she was like, and it looked like she didn't know that they knew each other.
She didn't.
Yeah, so that was what caused me to start to wonder that. So, but as for Tay, man, it's definitely over for him though. He's out of here.
Yeah, he need to be out of there too.
Damn.
But I did like how Mom Martha she drank her pain away, kid. She was on there dancing to that. Mike, she was dancing to what's that Cher song? Do you believe in love?
She was, yeah.
She was gone.
Well, we'll get to. Well, did you already go, Jalen?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, Tay is off the board. That's all I cared about.
I thought once again the acting and the writing in this scene was amazing. When she said, "I'm not sure what you're saying," and Luthen said, how nice for you." That is such a dope ass way to call somebody on some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know exactly what the fuck I'm saying, but it must be nice to pretend that you don't know what's going on. But I love the fact that Luthen is immediately like, "Oh, yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go."
And Mike, what he said earlier too was interesting when he was like, he questioned, he was like, "Would you even have told me if I wasn't here?"
Exactly.
As far as all that shit, like, and I was like, just because she's defending her friend, I love how he be calling her out because he's like, "Look, bro, we got a mission." Like she was like, "I know, don't worry about it. I'm gonna give him the number." He was like, "Nigga, you know the number." And you know that it's gonna be it's always gonna be a threat because he's always gonna come back and ask for bread.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to how Saul was calling him out last season when he was sending Krager out to die, and Saul was like, "Are we all exposed like this disposable?" Like he was just talking to him like, "Nigga, like you wouldn't have told me if you ain't came here right now. Like you would have just let that shit happen."
But
I
remember
mean,
what he
that's just how
said
he
to him,
thinks.
Jalen. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. It was a lag. My bad.
Go ahead. No, you good.
No, that's what you were saying. My fault.
No, I was just saying he said he's disposable. And I guess the last thing is every time he talks, I'm just reminded of that monologue that he had in the first season when he was like, he's not even looking for inner peace. Like that monologue tells you everything about him. He's like, "Nigga, I'm just about this rebellion, and that's fucking it. I'm dying this way. I ain't changing for shit."
Yep, I agree, 100%. But what I was going to cut in and remind you is when he was talking to Saw Gerrera, and Saw Gerrera was like, "Yeah, are we all disposable?" Remember, Luthen was basically like, "Only if you can expose me."
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "Saw, you know who I am. So yes, you are a problem." The same thing counts here. The point is, I think that if Tay went to Davos, that exposes Luthen. That exposes everybody. So the entire rebellion that they have built would be fucked if Tay runs his mouth. And Mon knows that, which we'll gloss over this part. We see Tay's getting in the car and we see it's driven by Cinta. And Val has been saying before, "Oh, when Cinta gonna call me?" Cinta ain't call her ass. I guess it wasn't that good. It wasn't that real. So she leaves.
Still got the draws, dog.
She got the jaws, but the jaws wasn't clean because clearly she ain't call her back. So Val is over there sad, but the episode ends, as Nick was alluding to a minute ago, with Mon Mothma dancing to a song that wasn't playing. Basically, I'm gonna end with Nick. So I'm gonna start with you, Jalen. What did you think of the way the scene ended with her just doing the typical white girl dance?
I think I more so enjoyed the way the episode was ending with like cutting back and forth between Andor and like them enjoying themselves and like the struggle and this fear that Andor was dealing with. Like, I guess it kind of shows to me. I took it as it shows like two ways of like being progressive of like and liberals, quote unquote, of like when you're at a certain level, you can advocate, you can push, you can do it, but you still have this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like you still have this privilege where these people are still struggling with this shit that they have to deal with. You may feel anxiety, you may feel all this, but eventually you can push all that shit away and your life will be fine. But these people they have no way out. So that's the way I really took that scene with the back and forth between those scenes, and that's how it left me impacted.
What'd you think, Ken?
Well, they're both fighting for the same cause, different statuses. Both are about, one has suffered a loss of a very close friend, his best friend, and she's about to do the same. And how do you deal with the grief of that or the acceptance of that? And we saw Cassian trying to hold it back, but you saw his face like it was becoming very difficult for him to hold back the tears of losing his best friend. And with her, instead of crying, she's dancing because she knows and suspects what's about to happen to Tay, because Tay is a threat. So the only thing she can do is escape. And they're both escaping. He's escaping out from the threats on that planet, and she's escaping through this music and through the joy, quote unquote, of dancing. So that's what I got from that.
What about you, Nick? Would you dance with a white girl like that?
No, I wouldn't. But I did like Jay said, like I like the different sides we got to see of how people deal with loss and with sacrifices they had to make for the rebellion. Like she already was probably going to be drinking because she's sacrificing her daughter. She just had that conversation with her daughter just a few months ago, and now she knows that her close or a former friend who actually did his part and help. Without him, they don't really get that far because he already gave him the guarantees. Like, look, don't nobody gonna know the wiser. I hid all the money, all that shit. I just need my cut because I'm hurting right now. And she was like, okay, yeah, you're gonna get your cut. All right. You know what I'm saying?
You want, though, bro.
Exactly. So it's like, from objectively, you could look at that like she's a scumbag for multiple reasons, for how she treats her family and how she's treating her friends. But when you actually know the context of everything, Mike, like it's like again, it kind of brings up the whole Joel Abby thing. I keep it related to The Last of Us, but it's like, with context, you can see how these people make these decisions. But if you look from afar, you can see how fucked up these decisions are too.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I like seeing these things in TV shows, especially when we're talking about sci-fi and fantastical shows like this.
No, that definitely makes sense. I didn't think about it that way because I never looked at Mon like she's a scumbag, but you're right. I could see how someone looking at it from the outside looking in would be like, oh no, you sold your daughter off and then you were cool with having your best friend killed. You're a shithead. But no, that makes sense. I loved the way this episode ended. I fucking loved it. The way she was dancing, at first I was like, Jesus Christ, like even in a galaxy far, far away, white folks got no rhythm. This is fucked up. You got black folks falling asleep on the job and white people can't fucking dance for shit. But if you look and you watch it again, a couple of them had some moves. A couple of them were doing this kind of shit. A couple of them had moves, but they were focused on Mon Mothma, who had no moves. And at first, it's funny until you think about it. Like, I think what they were trying to show is that Mon is at her breaking point. She's getting wasted, and she is completely dancing to her own song. She feels like she is by herself. Even though she's in this room, she knows everybody. There's her family, there's her friends, but she's by herself. The song that she's dancing to is not a song that anybody else hears. So I thought that the way that they focused on this, and she's going in the wrong direction of everybody else, and then it just cuts. This motherfucker, man, they really know what they're doing.
They cooking.
They're fucking cooking for real, for real. The way this episode ended, I was like, I cannot believe how good the show is. Once again, I'm feeling the same way I felt watching the first season. This shit is so fucking good. Unless you're only in it for lightsabers and the Force and Sith. But if you're here for a story, they're doing it. They're really, really, really doing it. So these first three episodes, man, they got y'all hyped for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I like how you said earlier, Mike. It's like we're watching a movie every week.
Every week, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly on the rewatch. That's exactly what I walked away with. It was damn near 3 movies each time, 3 to 4 movies. Bro.
Yeah, it's like a little over 2 hours too.
Yep. Every single time I'm like, dang, there's the start and then the end. Now he's in the situation. Start and then end. Now he's in, and it just watch, rinse, repeat. And same thing here. And that's why I was, once I finished it and I started, because I finished episode 12 Tuesday. So I just rolled right into this one. So yeah, it's just like, man, just picking up right where I left off. It was dope. So I was really looking forward to the experience, knowing what I just experienced.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I mean, I'm down. My wager is that Luthen doesn't make it through the end of the season.
Definitely not.
I don't think anybody but Andy. I'm not expecting even Bix and all. Like, I'm not trying to get attached because like this is clearly obviously the final season, but
Mon makes it through the end.
Hey, Cassian, Cassian, you don't want to be on his team. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. If you on his team, you ain't making it out.
I'm praying for Nyla. What's her name, Mike?
Man, we not seeing her again.
Nyla gone, bro.
We not seeing her again.
I hope I see that motherfucker.
Nyla went home. And fuck all of this.
And she quit too.
She quit the job immediately and went home. This motherfucker fucked up the goddamn plan. He over there bouncing around in the goddamn ship. She went home. But no, I'm with y'all. Like, I don't think anybody past Andor and Mon Mothma lived through this. I definitely think that I feel like we're going to lose Mon Mothma's daughter. I feel like she's probably also going to lose her husband. I feel like Luthen's probably going to die towards the end. But yeah, I feel like most of the people that we've come to see are gone. But I'm enjoying the fuck out of this, man. I really am. So I'm here for the rest of this. I'm excited. I'm glad that these first 3 episodes killed it. So yeah, so that's going to do it. Obviously, share this review with a friend or two. If you have anything that you think we missed that you need to call out, you can do that on Spotify now. So leave some comments there. Or if you so feel, pop on the Reddit, leave some comments there too. We definitely want to have a conversation about this one. So that's going to do it. We will see y'all next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.